The following training is sponsored by the Neoga Library System. We serve our member libraries in Niagara, Orleans, and Genesee counties. You can always visit our main web page listed here at neoga.org, or certainly visit your local library homepage and use your library card to get access to streaming videos, downloadable music, audiobooks, ebooks, and even more from the comfort of your own home. Thank you. Hello. So, continuing our series of hard and soft skills and what we can do to help our patrons and modeling behavior and things like that, I ran into an article from the American Libraries magazine, and it has a very interesting article on soft skills in the library. Librarians are uniquely positioned in communities. They are an authority institution, but still trusted, especially by people who don't necessarily trust other government institutions. And I went over to the Pew website and got a nice graph here. You can see, hopefully you can see this. This is overall over the past, I said 60 years, this is actually 70 years, from about 1950s with Eisenhower, the percentage of people in general who trust the Washington government. So this is the federal level of government, always or most of the time. And from Eisenhower to Kennedy through Reagan and Bush and Clinton years, all the way up to Trump, we can see the general downward decline of the trust in the federal government. And again, this was from Pew. So I was curious as to the various views on how people trust libraries. And with this particular chart, this is again from Pew. This is from 2017. We do a great job as far as people finding information that is trustworthy and reliable, being able to learn new things, growing as a person, excellent things, all very good, very well reported, well over 50%. The one thing we can work on and is getting people to realize that their personal data is safe in the libraries. And because that is actually the lowest, and I think you can see that right in here. So that is, of course, a perception. It's not quite correct because we do a good job, but we can fix that. All right, so Lindsay Jippen writes, as an emerging library professional, I'm constantly on the lookout for sound advice and advancing my career in librarianship. Recently, a colleague who manages her department and has served on numerous hiring committees for faculty librarian positions told me that one of the things that she looks for in the interview process is soft skills. And I had already done a video on how you can actually help showcase your soft skills without looking like a peacock, and that was yesterday's video. So hard skills like reading MARC records or budget management can be taught and learned. Soft skills are a bit less tangible. They can be learned, but it takes extra effort on the part of the employee. Melissa Lockaby, Assistant Professor of Library Science at the University of North Georgia, drew on her background in human resources to present a career development workshop on the soft skills, what library school doesn't teach you, at ALA's 2019 Midwinter Meeting. As a veteran library professional, current LIS student at the University of Denver, I'm familiar with the gaps in ALA's accredited curriculum. I hear fellow LIS students complaining about it as they embark on their professional library job searches, asking, why don't they teach us this in library school? A lot of this stuff can't be taught, and Lockaby says that, and that's true. It is stuff that you pick up with experience. So it does play a part. What are these elusive soft skills? Lockaby gave the following examples: confidence, sense of humor, multitasking, interpersonal skills, self-direction, time management skills, critical thinking, customer service, communication, and flexibility. Regarding customer service, Lockaby says, pay attention not only to what you say and how you say it, but what you look like when you say it, which is why I put the grumpy puppy over here and the happy puppy over there. She then crossed her arms across her chest, put on her best scowl, and asked who in the audience wanted to approach her with a question. Body language and a smile do make a huge difference. Soft skills in email communication include not using all capital letters, exclamation points, or emojis in professional emails, as well as the useful skill of the CC and BCC functions. Incidentally, a tip to avoid accidental reply all emails, which is what my husky is doing down here, when emailing a listserv is to list the listserv email address in the BCC line. If someone accidentally hits reply all, their message will only go to the person who sent the email and not to any of the addresses in the CC line rather than the entire listserv. So we can avoid our email embarrassment, evade email embarrassment. There are many aspects to being a good coworker, including flexibility, dependability. Noticing when someone has done something well goes a long way in terms of creating a positive work environment, Lockaby notes. We're so eager to point out the bad things that we forget to say thank you. Immediate, specific, positive feedback does go a long way. Emerging library professionals are drilled on the importance of networking, but how does one network effectively? Lockaby referred to the character Horace Slughorn from the Harry Potter book series, who loves collecting people he thinks might grow up to be something. She calls this character archetype a hunter-gatherer, saying networking and building relationships are very important, but don't be a hunter-gatherer. Don't be obnoxious when you meet people. Don't meet people just to use the connection later. Now, I talk about this as well. This has been my personal experience as far as being either a referral or a reference for someone in this way. I don't expect to be close friends with people who want to use me as a reference, but I don't mind that they use me as a reference. So it's not something that bothers me. It would bother me if I felt that someone was using me, but if I don't hear from a person and then suddenly 2 years later they're like, "Hey, Sarah, I'm going for a job interview, remember?" And that's good because then I go, "Oh, I do remember you," and I think of how we work together and what I could say as a reference. So you don't have to contact me personally all the time. And don't feel bad if you're just going to use me once or twice. That I don't mind. So it's a balance, I think. Again, a balance between being a hunter-gatherer and being like close friends. It is what it is. Lockaby then told an anecdote about chatting with someone over coffee at a conference for an hour just because she was enjoying their company. The connection led to Lockaby's current position at the University of North Georgia. Don't force it, be authentic. And I had done this before, but I'll say it again. The most effective way to showcase your hard and soft skills is to share specific stories from your past experience. And I will add here, stories from schooling and volunteering could be included too. For those with less experience or those experiencing any gap in your work history, relevant schooling or volunteering certainly counts, so don't discount that. Any story should relate directly to the requirements of the job, say, that you're interviewing for. And remember your STAR technique. When you're telling a story, begin by presenting the situation, describe a task at hand, explain the actions you took, and then the end result that you achieve. In this case, your interviewers would be or could be your patrons. Get them involved in a quick and easy way with a story that relates to them. And if you model this behavior, you can certainly do that, or maybe consider a workshop in your library where people can pair up and practice.